here. It's
Yeah,
windy, rainy, cold.
we had snow this morning in our portion of Canada, but on the east coast and the west coast, it's pouring, it's raining, and they have flood. By the way, so I have snow but I'm pleased. It's cold because it's much better than floods and all the struggles it's coming with. So. This is winter anyway, so we have so many special stuff appearing at this time of the year, just changing between the two seasons here.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, but I don't like so much cold, but it's fine.
it's not always fun, but I'm
Yeah.
used to it. As I said, it's much better than flooding and all the consequences, and so just since we're used to, we're able to deal with that. But this is winter anyway. That's part
Yeah.
of, we're up in the northern region, so this is what it is.
And I think finding the joy in the winter, if we can, is the main issue, even no matter if we don't like it or not.
Absolutely, greatly
Yeah.
said. Yes, we need to find joy in any situation, and this is one might be sometimes more challenging, but it's definitely a good thing to do.
Yeah. So today we will talk about also joy, isn't it? So,
Yeah, this is one of the
yeah.
things we wanted to address, to talk about, and as usual, we'll definitely touch climate change. We'll touch small and medium enterprise. We'll touch inclusiveness, gender equality, and many other things like that.
Yeah, when we look at thriving organizations in 2021, we see that there are great leaders behind that success. And when we ask the question to ourselves, what is the common characteristics of these leaders? I'm seeing three common characteristics. First, they are visionary. Second, they take care of their team members, employees while they are taking strategic decisions. Third one, maybe that is the one that is not spoken very much, is that they are inclusive and they are cheerful. So let's talk about today the latter one, being inclusive and cheerful. So I can say that this stands out as like the axons connecting neurons. Okay, we are not going to biology lesson, but anyway, this sounds like the axons connecting the neurons. In other words, connecting every employee to each other to achieve a common passionate goal. That is why I think that is very important.
Absolutely important. You're right. Connectiveness is important.
Yes. So, what do you think about connectiveness and inclusiveness? So, let's start with inclusiveness.
Yes, inclusiveness is definitely an important thing for organizations, small and big. And by the way, just a few weeks ago, there was a new study that was outlining that. So it's a study made by Board Ready, so a UK consulting firm, and it was directly talking about diversity, inclusiveness, and taking action to tackle climate change. So maybe I can give some spoiler of the main results. And the big thing here is that the greater the mix of gender, of race, of age in a company's board, is the more likely the firm is to take climate bolder action, so big action towards climate change. So this is a study that was made on the world's greenhouse gas, the big greenhouse gas emitters on the industrial side, so big industrial companies, and that's what they found. So if I say it in another way, so the boards that are greater mix of genders, so men and women, mix of races and ages, so young and older persons, are more likely to take measures that will reach towards net zero greenhouse gas emissions, so improving the situation. So with gender diversity being one of the particularly strong driver of corporate decarbonization. So this study was made out of 159 global firms, but they were based in North America, in Europe, in Asia, Pacific region as well. So it's kind of touching companies around the world. And we can definitely extend that to others, but we can ask if this is true for big corporation, bigger organization. Would it be true for smaller and medium organization? And it looks like yes, the authors themselves of the study, which are also owning the Board Ready Index. This is an index that is published at some time. So the findings out of these big companies, representing maybe 80% of the industrial carbon emitters, by the way, provides, so according to the authors, it provides transferable insights, and I'm quoting unquote, for wider stakeholder audience, especially medium and smaller size companies. Because they've looked towards their as soon as they look towards their net zero goal transition. So small companies going and to use the same strategies or the similar roadmap. Indeed, within a smaller organization. But diversity is a big driver. So diversity is in general a big driver. Gender equality or parity as much as possible is probably the first one. The second one would be according to age. So companies with younger average age at the board level, so decision making. So if we translate that to SMEs, it should be including at the management level and stuff like that, are more likely to have ambitious decarbonization strategies. So they will go further. They will be more bold in their decision and their ambition. So, and finally, the third one is company with better racial diversity at the board level as well, would perform as much more in I would say, I'm trying to find, so their commitment, that's the word they've chosen, I should use that. So their commitment would be more important than companies which are less racially diverse, I would say. So the research was clear. So the numbers are statistically sound. So they're showing real things. So that's why the author thinks it's translatable to smaller organization. And as you know, smaller organization, and even according to the World Economic Forum, are important. They represent about 90% of all businesses globally, and something like 70% of the employees. So they're really important. So indeed, if it's true for big organization and in principle for the smaller as well, it might translate in different things. So the ways it will be applicable might be different, but diversity, that's the key thing here. Diversity helps in taking better decisions, and especially related to climate. So we would be talking about women leadership in the next TEDx event on December 15th, and that is an important thing because, as I said, the study shows that persons at the higher level of the companies are effectively defining the decisions and the boldness of the decisions and the ambition and and what they will carry on after that. So set the tone as the top, as my American friend would say. So it's applicable here, and definitely if at the top level there is a bigger diversity, gender, age, and racial diversity, all these ingredients are helping. So that was my take. I wanted to say this morning, and definitely the discussions we'll have on the 15th will go further on that front, because we'll have people from the younger to the older age. We have women, indeed, for sure. We have people from different cultures from around the world. So I think we'll definitely touch this, and this study is just timely because we're at the beginning of this big decade of action, and to to have things changing in a decade, we'll need bold action. this is important.
Yeah, I totally agree. This is very important. And you mentioned about diversity and inclusion on board in terms of young talent and also racial inclusive and diversity. And of course, these are great, but the question is how we can create cohesion and synergy when it comes to inclusion and diversity, because how we can, for example, say that, okay, I can share my ideas, my concerns, and the people, let's say, on the board will listen to me even though I'm different to them. Let's say I'm a female, or I'm racially different, or I'm young. So I think feeling safe and then having a culture based of joy rather than fear is very important in those terms, because when we talk about cheerful leadership, it is not only celebrating successes or being cheerful always, but also creating a very positive environment. So no matter you fail or you succeed, you are all together and you support each other. So I can think cheer as a an agent for cohesiveness. So I think that is why it is very important in terms of creating a culture when it comes to inclusion and diversity. And also you mentioned about commitment, and when I think commitment also needs that employees needs to be felt valuable in the organization. Their ideas are recognized and they are listened, but also their successes are celebrated. So there is a kind of cheer and joy environment in the company. That's how I look at.
It's a great point. So being able, because when you're having a more diverse management and more diverse staff, definitely we need to be open to a diversity of ideas, a diversity of viewpoints, and to cheering this diversity and these different viewpoints is important, definitely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and also there is a quote, say, just this is the quote I really like. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. But how we will go together if we are just running to a compassionate common goal? So if somebody fails, as I said, who is going to help the one who's fallen to stand up and say that it is okay, rather than saying that, oh, you need to run? Or who is going to empower each other during this run or marathon? So I think, again, cheerfulness and joy is the energy we need to go far.
Absolutely, great point. Because the other keyword on top of diversity is together. You just mentioned, so effectively cheering and make it joyful is definitely a way to engage with the others and being opened for all the others coming in, and as whether it's a success or a failure, as you said. So even failures, we need to cheer them, because that's an opportunity to learn. So so I really like this approach, definitely. And this is touching the two keywords I was mentioning. The one you mentioned, so together was what you mentioned, but also diversity, and it's definitely the way to go if you want to take actions and take persistent actions, and it lasts for this decade of action we're in. So it's not just for 1-2 times; it's really for years. We need to work together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, during, for example, my coaching sessions, I ask, okay, what makes you excited in the morning? And if a person is not excited in the morning to achieve a specific target goal, or is not excited, let's say very simply, to do something, then he will not achieve anything, and he will not do anything, and he will spend his time for nothing. So it is same for organizations. If we can't make employees and also managers, leaders, everyone in the team excited starting from the morning, oh, today we are going to work on this and we are a team. If we don't have this joyful climate, and if we can't provoke this kind of feelings, I think there will be friction, and friction is the enemy of diversity and inclusion, I think.
You're right. That's we need to fight this friction, as you said, because it's consuming energy, and it's making people work in the in walk in the wrong direction. While we all need to be moving in the same direction. So all great thoughts you came with. It's important that the context, starting from early morning things, essentially is all towards the goal, essentially, and positive and constructive, in a constructive way.
Yeah, that is why I mentioned also on LinkedIn post, joy is like the chi energy as described by Chinese. It's the energy of life itself, we can call, in an organization where it leads to a balance of yin and yang. In these terms, we can say diversity and inclusion. If diversity and inclusion is the balance, and chi or joy is the energy leading or providing us the balance of yin and yang, or other way around. I like playing with words, so chi, we can say cheerful, inclusive leadership. So that's
Nice.
what.
Nicely said. Yes, great words. And so I think it's definitely setting the table for many discussions we'll have, including our big session, a big event in less than 3 weeks now. It's just 18 days away. Next week we'll announce panelists that we'll have, and I'll definitely be joyful to do that. That will be great. I think we'll have an awesome set of panelists, like we had the first time a couple of weeks ago, where those discussions were so interesting and insightful. So same thing, but talking more about women leadership, inclusiveness, diversity. That will be the next step.
Yeah, I agree. It will be a very interesting discussion, because from the science we know that, for example, women are more socially connected and more emotional on this emotional intelligence part, where men are more logical and strategic. So I'm really curious how we can create a coherent, inclusive, and diverse environment connected through joy. So just, it will be very interesting.
Definitely, and important, because we need to build on this complementarity. Differences are giving new opportunities to go forward, but at the same time they are a challenge. So a challenge and an opportunity it's always going together, essentially. So and that's for good reason, and definitely to make it in a way that it's joyful and we're cheerful.
Or
That's
2 to 3
definitely I'm
weeks, yeah.
looking for.
And I'm looking forward to that discussion. It will be really important discussion before we move to 2022.
Yeah, just before the end of the year. So definitely it's will be there, and this is definitely an invitation for all others which are interested. It's a public event, and we are definitely looking forward to it. So thanks, Ayse, for this discussion today. And anyway, we'll be in touch, and
Yeah.
we'll be there on the 15th of December at the TEDxPlattsburgh event.
Yeah, I also thank you, Stephane, for today. And if anyone has questions, they can drop a comment on the LinkedIn, because I think we will publish this on LinkedIn in some way.
Definitely. Thanks very much,
Thank
Ayse.
you.
And have a nice weekend.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.